Okay. Let me see. Is it working? I'm not sure. It says it's waiting for me, so. Are we on? I don't know. I'm not sure if we're on or not. So, I will go ahead and get started. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this, if the music's too loud. On my end, it's a little loud. But, yeah. Let me do that so I can hear myself. Alright. We're going to get this started, I guess. Not going to have a whole lot of people in the chat, I guess. So I'll just go into it. If anyone shows up, we can start talking. What can I say about the Rise of Skywalker? Man, that movie. It oh man, I don't know. We saw it last night, and I'll tell you, it I wasn't sure as it went on. I wasn't sure how the movie was gonna go. I knew the leaks were real. I knew. I'm taking these off. Like I don't even hear the music. Y'all can hear the music. I don't hear it. I knew these leaks were real, and I had heard a few of them. I didn't know a whole lot about what was gonna happen. Well, okay then. But this movie by far made up for episode 8. This movie delivered on things that may not be the way that I wanted them to be, but they delivered things that were needed. Let's just get into it. I already said spoilers. There's a spoiler review. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now. I give the movie a, let's say, out of 10. I give it about 8 or a 9. I enjoyed it quite a bit. It's up there next to The Force Awakens for me. So it's up there. Maybe not my favorite Star Wars film, but definitely up there. So yeah. My big thing is I was really more concerned with character Finn than anybody else, to be honest. He's the one who's been kind of getting the raw treatment lately, and JJ stepped up and took care of that character, gave him purpose, gave him reason, and to be honest, I mean that's really I think that John Boyega really wanted for the character of Finn was he had a reason, that he had something besides the fact he kept running away. And my wife and I have called this since Force Awakens. Finn is Force sensitive. And it was alluded to and basically confirmed in this movie. They didn't play around with it a whole lot, but the dude can feel the Force. He knows what it is. I love the fact that he found other people who were like him, other deserters. My issue with that, it doesn't make him an anomaly. And I think making Finn an anomaly was such a special thing in The Force Awakens. And to bring in Jannah and her crew and like, oh, we're all ex-stormtroopers. It was cool. It gave Finn a sense of like, oh shoot, there's others like me. But at the same time, I don't know, it took that like specialness away. But I thought it was still pretty cool. That there were more. It also shows that he wasn't a bug in the system. I was actually annoyed with Rey for the first half of this movie. I will tell you that I wasn't a fan of just the where she was mentally, um, and she was just kind of like that child who wasn't getting what they wanted, who wasn't get, yeah, yeah who wasn't getting what they wanted, and um, just kind of gave up. And I sort of got that feeling, and then when Kylo got a hold of her about Palpatine, and then when he revealed things, and she was really down for it. There was a moment where I'm kind of jumping around, but there was a moment on the Death Star wreckage where Finn was going after her. You know, Finn was super protective of her, and that was the other thing too. JJ was like, he was like, I wanted Finn and Rey to be together, and you push Finn or Rey and Kylo, and I'm gonna have Finn tell her his feelings, and we never really get that. We see it, we know it as the audience, but Rey doesn't get that. She doesn't really care. She's really more about Ben, which is fine. That's what she wants. Um, but it's bothersome. Like it legitimately is bothersome just because you set up these characters in The Force Awakens to have this connection, and then Ryan set up these characters to have connection in Last Jedi, and now we're sticking with that connection, which I like it. And honestly, Kylo Ren is not one of my favorite characters. He's not one of my favorite characters, but I'm telling you, I I'm a huge fan of Ben Solo. I'm not gonna lie, and it really bothered me when In came and he sacrificed himself for Rey, and I was just like, oh my gosh, right when I liked you, man, right when I liked you, it just, I don't know. No, but I saw the redemption of Kylo Ren coming a long time ago. Um, it didn't happen in The Last Jedi, which is where I thought it was gonna happen. It did come in this one. I liked his character a lot in this film. Kylo Ren and Ben Solo. I liked that character, that arc. Um, this wasn't about Kylo. This movie was not about Kylo. This movie was about Rey. This movie was about the Resistance moving on from Leia. This movie was about essentially the big three of this franchise, which are Finn, Rey, and Poe. Finn having his new family and holding on to them and making sure, like, no, we're gonna do this. Poe having to take on that leadership role from Leia and doesn't know how to be that leader. And then Rey dealing with who she is and trying to find her way through the Jedi and trying to find a connection. And so this is really that's what these three are dealing with. And I really enjoyed that for these characters. Like I really did. Um, Rose Tico is in the film. We knew that. But her role, she still got feelings for Finn. Finn politely declines her every time. um, Jana, she's a cool character. I don't have a problem with her. It's just, again, it her character's backstory, we don't really know. I mean, we know she was a stormtrooper. We don't know where she's from. Um, and her connection with Lando, I think, was really cool. The idea that her being Lando's daughter was really cool as well. But I don't know if that's where it's going. I just think Lando's going to help her figure that out. Um, and I don't know. I like that character. Dominic Monaghan's character, don't know his name, but I enjoyed him. The fact he brought up the Holdo maneuver. He's like, what about the Holdo maneuver, man? Like, that'll get some stuff done. They're like, that's a 1 in a million possibility, and it's not realistic. They shut it down hardcore. I really like this character, though. Snap Wexley, man, that's my dude. Um, I was mad. I was mad they killed Snap, man. Snap is my dude. He wasn't in The Last Jedi, and the times he was in this movie, he was funny. He gave a good performance, but it was just like he went down, and it devastated Poe. And you can see the character difference. I'm gonna stop for a minute and think about this. Poe in the beginning of The Last Jedi, where he's like, the bombers and all of this is happening, and all these people are dying, and just to take out a dreadnought. Now they're having to have this battle at Exegol, and he doesn't know what to do. And so it's like you kill all these people, and you have some remorse, but not a whole lot. And now you're losing people, and it's on your shoulders now, and you're not confident in your actions. And that's where I thought Poe was. That's what I thought Poe was. I didn't think he was this. We can go out guns a blazing. I thought he was more the guy who was like, all right, we're gonna do what we need to do. But when it comes down to it, and I'm losing people, I don't know what to do. And I was glad to see that in Poe. The fact that Poe and Finn became the generals of the Resistance, I thought that was beautiful. The fact that Poe was like, I need you, Finn. And Finn's like, he's like, I appreciate that. um, I really like that. I like the bromance there. I like the connection between all three. I like Zori Bliss. The moments with C-3PO were very good. Very good. And the fact that what they end up doing with him, they make you think he's going to be forget his memory forever. R2 backs it up. And it wasn't as big as the trailer makes you think it's going to be. You just kind of assume once they put that in there that R2 will back up his memory. But the truth is, if they hadn't have made that comment, I think they could have left it at that. And it just made you like, oh man, C-3PO not gonna be the same ever again. And I think honestly, his personality it'd be cool if that would have changed, and then it was rebooted and brought back. That would have been cool. But after because they have to go in and do like figure out what the dagger says, and because he can see what it says, but he can't say out loud the interpretation because of programming, which I don't know if I like that plot device, but he has to go in and get rebooted, and then he says it, and then he passes out, and then they set him back up, and he forgets everything, which was humorous because then Poe was yelling at him, and then he said, "How dare you yell at me? We just met," and it was great. But more thing about it, like that moment right there, I kind of wish they would have done a little bit differently and explained a little bit better. But I really don't have an issue with a lot of stuff they did in this movie. I like the fact that R2 was Poe's co-pilot in the final battle. I thought that was pretty cool. I wish we would have gotten to see Hera or Hondo when it came to the Ghost. I think that would have been really cool. I was glad we got all these ships in the Exegol battle, but I don't. And we got to see Wedge Antilles, man. Like that made me happy. And hearing all the Jedi from the past, like there's so much to unpack from this movie. I'm not going too crazy into it, but my favorite moments, and I was telling my wife this, I cared more about the Finn Poe, like what was going on with the Resistance, more than what I did with Rey at one point, because I was just done with Rey. Her attitude, her anger kind of coming out of nowhere. I was just kind of done with that character until a little bit later. But yeah, I also felt for Finn. Finn was really trying to keep his family together, and it wasn't working. And then there was a moment where they're on Endor, and Finn wants to go after Rey, and Poe was like, oh, we'll go after her once we get the ship fixed. And he said, no, we need to go after her now. And he's like, well, I'm not Leia. And he said, you damn right you're not Leia. And then like Finn just walks off. And it was like a literal, like, Poe puts his finger in his face. I'm not Leia. And then Finn just slaps Poe's hand. And he's like, you're damn right you're not. And then just walks away. It was like, oh. To look back and see them on the TIE Fighter in Force Awakens, to see that where they're at now, they've grown. They've become brothers. And it's very, very cool to see that relationship grow. And same thing with Rey. Rey and Finn, you could tell they're best friends. They confide in each other on everything. But it just, you could just tell. You could just tell. I don't know what it was, but there was something about this movie. It doesn't feel like any other Star Wars movie to me. There are times where it feels like Return of the Jedi, but really the feeling I got from it, it was its own thing. Like, it really was its own thing. And Star Wars Theory put it this way: it's the children of Palpatine and Skywalker. It's their children's children. So you've got the original, the prequel trilogy, which is about Anakin becoming Vader, and then the sequel trilogy, or the original trilogy, sorry, which is about Anakin's kids, and then dealing with Vader and the Emperor. And now you've got the sequel trilogy, which is about Vader and Palpatine's kids, like their grandkids. And to look at it like that, it is a family lineage. And each trilogy has its own segment. Because you could end with Revenge of the Sith and just end it on that note. And that's how it ends. You could end with Return of the Jedi, and that's how it ends. End with Rise of Skywalker, and that's how it is. Each trilogy has its ending. And they all seem to come together in one way or another. And I think it was smart. It's smart because this trilogy can stand on its own. You can give something that Theory was saying. He was saying, I treat 1 through 6 like one movie set, and this is its own movie set. That was Palpatine and Anakin. This is their kids. That's one way to look at it, and I think that's a really smart way to do it. So, I'll probably do another video with my wife. I'm just trying to raise my voice a little bit because I'm recovering from pneumonia, but I don't know. I don't know. I'll probably do another video with my wife, get more into it. There are things that I'm still trying to unpack. Hopefully we'll see it again soon. It's just a good movie. I don't care what the critics say. I don't care what the Phantom Menace says. I just know I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this way better than The Last Jedi. It made my wife cry. It made me cry at one point, and it was when Han Solo showed up. I was in tears. It made me so happy. Like, this movie made me happy. So thank you, JJ. And thank you to the cast and the crew and to Mr. Lucas. Thank you for Star Wars. And thank you for this film. Hopefully y'all can hear this over the music because I'm being quiet, but thank you. I'm gonna go. I gotta go wrap a present. So, for a company party thing at my wife's work. So, I'm gonna go. But you guys have a good day. All right. Bye.